My name is Amethyst and welcome to my channel. I am the author of the Mushroom Studio blog, so you can check that out as well. And today we're just going to be going through what I read in April. So I read 10 books, mostly manga and romance, and I'll list everything in the description. So let's get into it. So first, the books I completed this month were the second and third book of the All the Boys Have Ever Loved trilogy. And this book series was interesting. So this is a YA romance, and I feel like overall it really does read as like a younger YA novel. The main romance between Lara Jean and Peter always to me kind of felt like, why are they together, you know? The side characters were definitely by far my favorite, and the side storylines were definitely my favorite as well. Overall, these books sort of, especially by the time we get to the third one, kind of felt like, is there more to say? And is there like just more relationship drama that's gonna happen? And it feels like their entire relationship is more about the idea of a relationship and the idea of like this high school sweetheart than like them as actual people and actually liking each other. So overall, both these books were about 3 stars. The next book I read I do not have on hand, but it was On a Sunbeam, which is a graphic novel set in a sci-fi future following our main protagonist in 2 different timelines. The present timeline is her working on this really beautiful ship and traveling to these different planets, and then the timeline in the past is her in school. And this whole book feels like this really just wonderful ode to people and relationships. And we see so many different people and so many different kinds of relationships, and how, you know, they grow and evolve, and the feelings of coming back to somebody after so many years apart. And it was really, really beautiful, and the artwork was absolutely beautiful. My one complaint would probably be that because of the color palette and the style of artwork, in the beginning it was kind of difficult to keep some characters straight just because of, like, they looked so similar to each other. But as I continued reading it, it just got easier and easier till I didn't even think about it at all. So I would give that a 4 stars and would highly recommend. So next, we have The Spanish Love Deception. And this book, I kind of went back and forth between really liking it and really not. So we follow our main character and her coworker who have just never seen eye to eye and never gotten along. But when she tells her family back in Spain that she is going to be bringing her American boyfriend, which she does not have, back to her sister's wedding, she's definitely put in a bit of a crunch. So Erin, her coworker, offers to pretend to be her date, and this is really out of the blue. And the first part of this book was very slow and very repetitive, and it kind of felt like they were kind of being put in the same situation again and again. If it's like, we don't like each other, why would you offer to help me? But it really is like again and again and again. Once they finally do get to Spain, things definitely pick up a lot, and it's definitely fun to see them, like, you know, loosen up outside of this workplace environment and actually get to know each other. Overall, a lot of the themes felt like every rom-com ever, you know. We've got the pretend dating, there's only one bed, the grumpy versus sunshine kind of tropes. So it wasn't fantastic, but I mean, it wasn't terrible either, especially the second part, which was definitely better. So I would give this 3 stars. So next I read Stuart Little, and I have never actually read this book in its entirety until now. So we follow Mr. and Mrs. Little, and they have a son, George, and they also have another son, Stuart, who is only 3 inches tall, and a very good son. And his only oddity is that he looks a little bit like a mouse. And we follow Stuart's adventures around New York City and into the countryside or surrounding it. It's very cozy adventure. Not a lot happens, but definitely I understand why it is such a classic for beginner readers. But overall, it was about a 3.5 star. So the next several books that I read, I do not have on hand as I got them from the library, but I read Spy X Family, Volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I really, really love these books. We follow a spy who, for his mission, needs a family. So he finds a daughter who happens to be a telepath, and a pretend wife who happens to be an assassin. So this is really a comedy, and it's just all about them balancing their interesting skill sets and jobs with their home life as a family. And it's just really sweet and funny to see them all grow together. And of course, the young daughter, who is a telepath, is aware of both of her parents' true jobs and just has super funny and cute reactions, and just tries so hard to be part of these missions. Spy, who's the father of the group, really does start to grow in these books to just care about them more and more, and he will do anything for his family, for the mission. And it's so sweet and so funny, and I am so excited to read more from this series. So overall, all the books are between 4 to 5 stars depending on each book. So the last book I read this month was The Lost Spells, which is a poetry and illustration collection. This was just stunning, and the art on its own is just worth it. It's just so beautiful, and the poetry really makes that connection between humans as part of the natural world and humans and with their relationship with the rest of the natural world in a way that's like really approachable, and it just made me smile so much because these poems are so deep and philosophical, but also just really witty and funny, and it just made me feel really good. So I would give this a 5-star rating, and I just loved it. So that was my first video for this channel, and I hope it wasn't too awkward since I haven't done a lot of filming before. If you want to check out any more of my content, you can go to the blog, The Mushroom Studio, which I will link down below. And I hope to see you as this channel continues to grow.